got your realization? What was your first meeting with Shri Mataji like? So, would you start with, let's start with Danya, please.
It was the 6th of June in 1980, and I was at school, so I was about 13, so I'd just come home from school to chuck my book bags down in the hall, and my mum, Magda, who was a great seeker, seeking all my childhood, telling me all about yoga, but she had seen the poster of Shri Mataji and she'd said, would you like to come with me? So that was a period of time when I wasn't hanging out so much with my mum, being 13, 14, but something in me said, yeah, I think I will. So I do remember very clearly, we went to the Friends Meeting House in Hampstead. It was the first time Shri Mataji had visited Hampstead, and we were early, very early. So we sat at the front and just watched and waited as all these beautiful people were preparing for her arrival with a very meditative and just something very special in the air, definitely. And in those days, I guess, the model for Sahaja Yoga was India, followed on England. So in retrospect, I can see it was like a puja, with the oil lamps,
Yes.
Probably you were preparing, Chaya and
Yes.
Maureen and Dougie. Just slowly, everyone was preparing with such dignity, and it just felt something's happening. So me and my mum were just sitting at the front, watching, waiting. And as we were waiting, the vibrations just getting so strong. I mean, we didn't know about vibrations, obviously, but I remember someone gave a talk. I don't think I followed what he was saying, but I couldn't see him. It was probably sitting as close as you are, because we were that close to the front, and it was just like torrential torrential rain.
Right.
So I turned to Mum and said, I can't, can you see that? And she said yes. It was just, we just lost the hall. And eventually Shri Mataji arrived, and most of the hall were probably Sahaja Yogis. Everyone spontaneously stood, and we stood, we bowed, she went, she sat. And apparently she had just come from a diplomatic function, so I wouldn't have known that, but she was dressed in a particularly, I don't want to use the word, but you could say glamorous. I mean, she'd come with a very bright sari with gold, and she had bangles, she had nail polish. So for a young teenage girl, just like looking at her, I think she's so beautiful.
Yes.
And she stood, a few feet in front of me, and stood the whole time. And I think I, again, didn't really follow, because perhaps my liver, my attention, I wasn't really listening. I was just looking at her sari, her bangles, her feet. And then eventually she said, now everyone will get it. I was going, get what? What is this thing we've come? Thought it's just a wonderful lady,
Yes.
And then sitting there, when she went through the realization, that was the moment when it was like, wow. Because when I was little, I was always trying to stop the thinking, stop the thoughts, shut the light, shut my eyes, shut the door, but I could never stop thinking. It's like a game I used to play, and I remember just sitting there and it had stopped, the thinking, the chatter, couldn't move. So she came over to both me and my mum, and she was very sweet with my mum, said some lovely things about her being a great seeker and having a fantastic nabi and heart. We didn't know really what that meant, just that it sounded lovely. And she looked at me, she sort of laughed, put her hand on my head and looked in my eyes, and her face was really close to me, and she said, your eyes now, they're black like mine. And just, it was like love, this feeling of just love, and could just follow her. And some Sahaja Yogi had touched her feet and bowed down, and I asked them, can I go to her feet? And no one said, I'm not sure, I don't know it's protocol.
Yes,
so we just left it the first time. But we followed her around the hall as she worked on everyone, and all the people here would have experienced how active and energetic and involved. So each person was worked on in the meeting.
Yes.
The goddess, moving her. It was really clear she was moving weapons, or, moving her arms. And just followed her really, and completely in her spell. And we heard she was giving a public program on the Sunday. So we went to see her on the Sunday as well, but it wasn't a public program, it was the ashram, and somehow we'd snuck in. And sure enough, when she saw us walking in, she beckoned like this, and she held out her feet, and she said, come, she allowed me to go at her feet. And
what was it like?
Oh, what was that like? It was like falling into infinity, or feeling timeless, complete timelessness, and the Kundalini was coming up with such a force, because also I had a block on my liver. The Kundalini always, if there's a block, particularly liver, you can see it.
Yeah.
So although I was there, I felt like a long time. It could have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, half, I don't know what. But when I got up, everyone was like, look at a camera, film, because it was going with such a force to the liver.
Yes.
So eventually I sat down, and as I sat down, it was just shooting up, again. And I think from then on, we were just very much in that. We were so lucky and so blessed. That Sunday, that was the Sunday. The Monday, she was at Caxton Hall. In the week, I believe she went somewhere else outside London. Me and my mum went along, and she said, "You've come all this way." It's like an hour outside. Thank you. And we used to sit, very nicely sit and watch, and then to no, come on.
Yes.
You come and help me. You work on this one. So eventually we realised there's something to do, and it's not just following her. We have to know about the chakras.
Yes. So as a 13-year-old, after this experience of realization, which everyone could see and wanted to film, what was life like in your school, for instance, in your day-to-day? What was the change that you noticed?
It was a big change, because there was a choice. There was a definite choice. There was, you can go down this road and go out with these friends, or you can be with Shri Mataji. So I actually had a dream that she came in my house, and I went to her feet again, and she told me, leave those friends. Like, they're not good for you, those particular friends. But I knew that anyway. And I think because she gave us so much attention, it was so magical being with her, I didn't actually miss the hanging out with those friends at school. I just changed very quickly. And because there was the confidence she was giving us, seeing her every week, we were so lucky.
Yes. You also mentioned earlier how you drew a portrait of Shri Mataji without ever having met her before.
In an art class, just a few days before meeting, we'd given a free class. I did art for O-level, but it was before, and the teacher said, just draw whatever you like. So I started off drawing a face. It was first of all an Indian man, and then it became an Indian lady, and then I thought it was a Native American Indian, because I always had, and then I put a massive bindi on it, and it became very, very similar to the early black and white photograph. It's sort of, shaded and very peaceful. I just drew it for about 2 hours, and my best friend, she really liked it, so I gave it to her. Yes. But when I saw Shri Mataji in that photo, I said, I think I drew this.
Is that the photo that...
the early one, yes.
The
mudra,
one. Okay. Thanks.
That's okay, thank you.